Who? Donald Trump?
Yes, Donald Trump. You've heard him. He said he has a list of enemies. You think I'm not on that list?
Jimmy, calm down. You're acting like a stupid little baby.
Trump's little nuts out of his mouth for just a minute, long enough to assure us that he would never sink so low as to play politics with much-needed federal aid to our state.
Tonight is a special night at the White House. It's Donald and Melania's 20th wedding anniversary. 20 years is a long time, especially for Melania. This morning, Trump paid tribute to his longest-serving wife by reposting this AI image of himself with a lion. Jimmy Kimmel. A lighthearted joke or the spark that lights another Trump firestorm? Jimmy Kimmel just took a playful shot at Trump's marriage, but let's just say that Trump did not find it funny. Now he is boiling over, and the question is that will he let it slide, fire back with one of his fiery rants, or will Melania's icy glare shut it all down before it even starts? You won't want to miss this. Get yourself ready because this is about to get intense. Jimmy Kimmel versus Trump, a battle of jokes and reactions. I'm guessing he noticed a bunch of people posting about his anniversary, which remind him, oh, it's my anniversary. So he then reposted this sweet photo of Melania literally pushing him away from her. Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel knows exactly what he is doing. He has been in the late-night business long enough to understand that making fun of Donald Trump is more than just an easy way to get laughs. It is a surefire method to dominate the news cycle. Every time Kimmel takes a jab at the former president, the internet erupts, headlines roll in, and both fans and critics engage in a fiery debate. So, when Kimmel walked on stage with his signature grin, the audience knew something was brewing, and as expected, he wasted no time. Meanwhile, Trump was busy working the crowd at CPAC, Conservative Political Action Conference.
Donald Trump has received a rock-star welcome at the annual Conservative Convention, CPAC, near Washington, where he told the crowds why he was so determined to run for president a second time.
A gathering that at this point feels less like a political event and more like a festival of grievances. It is a place where fiery speeches about election fraud and deep state conspiracies get more applause than actual policy discussions. And Trump? He thrives in this environment. He spoke for over 2 hours, long enough for someone to leave, watch a few episodes of Game of Thrones, return, and still find him going strong. To no one's surprise, he kicked things off with his signature move, hugging the American flag like it was an old friend he had not seen in years. Trump's affection for the flag has become so legendary that it sometimes seems like he treats it with more tenderness than his own family members. At first, Kimmel kept things light with some playful jokes to warm up the crowd, but everyone knew the real hit was coming. And when it did, it landed like a knockout punch. Trump fired back, ranting about Kimmel's hosting at the Oscars, calling him below average and trying too hard. He ended it with his usual "Make America Great Again" sign-off before throwing in a sarcastic jab about Kimmel's audience, implying they should already be in jail. As expected, reactions were mixed. Some sat stone-faced, refusing to laugh like it might get them flagged by the government, but the rest were in hysterics, clapping, wiping away tears, and gasping for air. Meanwhile, reports surfaced that even Trump's former sister-in-law claimed his ex-wife had been terrified of him. And just like that, Kimmel did not just crack a joke, he set the internet on fire. The internet reacts. Viral moments and heated debates. Social media immediately erupted with people dissecting every word of Kimmel's punchlines and Trump's reaction. News outlets ran segments replaying the jokes on a loop, while political commentators debated whether late-night humor still had any real impact on public opinion. Even those who did not usually watch late-night television found themselves scrolling through viral clips, turning Kimmel's monologue into an overnight sensation. Trump's ex-wife was reportedly so afraid of him that she and her sister had a secret code to text each other whenever she felt unsafe. But here is where things really take off. Kimmel does not just crack a joke and move on. He digs in, stretches it out, and breaks it down piece by piece, making the audience laugh harder with every word. Some people are laughing so much they look like they might need medical attention, while others try to keep a straight face, afraid their reaction might end up on camera. And speaking of cameras, every time a comedian roasts Trump, you can bet the cameras start scanning the crowd. Who is laughing a little too hard? Who is nervously glancing at their phone? wondering if their Republican uncle has already texted them in outrage. It is all part of the spectacle. Meanwhile, somewhere in a dimly lit room, Diet Coke in hand, Trump might already be watching. Maybe he caught the joke while flipping channels. Maybe an aide warned him that Truth Social was about to explode. Either way, Kimmel had just ensured that Trump's next 24 hours would be dedicated to crafting the perfect angry response. Would it be an all-caps rant? A rambling post about fake news and late-night losers? Or maybe even a wild new conspiracy theory about Jimmy Kimmel being part of a secret plot against him? No one knew for sure, but one thing was certain. The joke had just lit a fuse, and the explosion was coming. Trump's never-ending rivalry with late-night hosts. Trump and late-night comedians go together like fire and gasoline. The flames never die out, and every joke guarantees headlines, viral clips, and a fresh wave of online outrage. But this feud did not start when Trump became president. Late-night hosts have been making fun of him for decades, and if history has taught us anything, it is that Trump never lets a joke slide.
Woods has already spent $10.7 million of tax money playing golf. Trump has played golf on 9 of his first 30 days of work.
Back in the 80s and 90s, Trump was the flashy real estate tycoon with gold-plated buildings and an even bigger ego. He was already a walking caricature long before politics entered the picture. Comedians loved making fun of him, but back then the jokes focused on his extravagant lifestyle, bizarre TV appearances, and of course that hair. When Trump got roasted, it was usually lighthearted. If he took a hit, it was probably from a Forbes magazine rather than a political opponent. He was like a character out of a video game, easy to provoke and always reacting. Debates with him felt more like a dramatic movie showdown than serious political discussions. His advisors begged him to stay focused and friendly, but he never listened. Because let's be honest, this election was not about policies, it was about personalities, and Trump was the biggest one in the room. Then came the Apprentice era. Trump fully embraced his role as the tough, no-nonsense boss who fired people for fun. Late-night hosts had a blast with it. Conan O'Brien, David Letterman, and Jay Leno roasted his catchphrases, his obsession with slapping his name on everything, and his larger-than-life persona. But back then, Trump played along. He liked the attention. He even appeared on these shows, laughing as the hosts made fun of him because it was all part of the brand he was building, from laughing along to fighting back. But then 2016 changed everything. Trump went from reality TV to actual reality, and late-night comedy took on a whole new tone. This was not just about teasing an eccentric billionaire anymore, this was personal. Stephen Colbert, a master of satire, sharpened his attacks. Seth Meyers, who had famously roasted Trump at the 2011 White House Correspondents' Dinner.
When you hosted the White House Correspondents' Dinner, what was the most awkward, immediate response you got from someone in the room?
Well, the only thing I'll say, it was very hard to see who was in the room.
Turned his monologues into a nightly takedown. Jimmy Kimmel, who had mostly stuck to lighthearted jokes, found himself diving into politics, calling out Trump's policies, statements, and social media rants. As the political landscape shifted, late-night hosts became more than just entertainers. They were unofficial commentators, shaping the narrative for millions of viewers. Kimmel, in particular, leaned into this role, using his platform not just to mock Trump, but to discuss real-world issues, from healthcare to immigration policies. His transition from comedian to advocate was a turning point, cementing his status as one of Trump's most vocal critics. And then there was Jimmy Fallon. While other hosts went full throttle, Fallon made the infamous mistake, playfully ruffling Trump's hair in a 2016 interview in an attempt to stay neutral. That moment became a defining one, proving that in this new era, playing nice with Trump did not sit well with everyone. The backlash was instant. Fans accused Fallon of making Trump seem more likable at a time when the stakes were too high. Later, Fallon admitted he regretted the moment, but the damage was already done. And Trump? He never let it go. Years later, he was still taking shots at Fallon, even telling him to be a man and stop apologizing. As president, Trump had no love for late-night comedians. He called them unfunny, overrated, and part of the so-called fake news media. When Colbert roasted him with a particularly brutal monologue, Trump brushed him off as a no-talent guy. When Kimmel criticized his policies, Trump fired back by attacking his ratings. If he was not ranting about them online, he was using his rallies to turn their jokes into political talking points. Even after leaving office, Trump's feud with late-night TV has not faded. But here's the problem. The jokes have not stopped either. As long as there is a stage, a microphone, and an audience ready to laugh at his expense, late-night comedians will never run out of material. The mystery of Trump and Melania's marriage. For years, Trump and Melania's marriage has been an internet mystery, right up there with what is really in Area 51 and who keeps Nickelback's album sales alive. From the outside, their relationship looks less like a love story and more like a long-term business deal, one with a strict no hand-holding policy. And late-night hosts, especially Jimmy Kimmel, have made sure to highlight every awkward moment. His latest joke was not just funny, it was a direct hit on a long-running pop culture obsession. The audience's reaction said it all: laughter, gasps, and that unmistakable, "oh, he really went there" energy. Within hours, meme pages had already started a fresh wave of content. Some users edited clips of Melania's most uncomfortable moments into dramatic Hollywood-style trailers, while others revived the Free Melania movement, joking that she was a hostage rather than a wife.
It's not easy when your relationship is under the media spotlight, and that's certainly the case for the President and First Lady.
But we have to start with Melania, what she puts up with. Oh.
The internet had taken Kimmel's joke and turned it into something even bigger, a viral sensation that was impossible to ignore. Because let's be real, people have been analyzing the Trump marriage for years. Every glance, every handshake, or lack of one, every interaction is dissected like a high-stakes poker game. And with moments like these, the internet gets exactly what it wants: more fuel for the never-ending Trump comedy saga. The internet's favorite running joke. Remember the infamous hand swat incident? It was 2017, and as Trump and Melania walked down a tarmac in Israel, he reached for her hand, only for her to slap it away like she was rejecting a crumpled dollar bill. That 1-second clip exploded online, sparking endless debates. Was it an accident, or the most passive-aggressive rejection ever caught on camera? Then there was that moment at Trump's inauguration. The forced smile that vanished the second he turned away, like something straight out of a Jordan Peele horror film. Every time someone wanted to revive the "is Melania trapped" theory, that clip made a comeback. Pair these moments with stiff photo ops, awkward interactions, and Melania's less than thrilled expressions, and you have comedy gold. Kimmel knew exactly what he was doing with his joke. He was tapping into a viral topic that practically writes itself, and the internet went wild. Within minutes, social media exploded. The hand swat clip resurfaced. Theories flew around. Was she planning her escape, or just sticking around for the inheritance? TikTok got in on the fun, remixing Kimmel's joke with dramatic music. Even meme pages dusted off their best Free Melania content. Of course, Trump's supporters weren't laughing. They dismissed Kimmel's joke as another cheap shot from Hollywood elites, insisting Trump and Melania's marriage was perfectly normal. Because hey, who has not looked like they'd rather be anywhere else next to their spouse? Love him or hate him, one thing is clear. Trump's marriage has given us some of the most unintentionally hilarious moments in political history. And with comedians like Kimmel around, those moments are not going anywhere. Trump's response: the joke that never ends. And right on cue, Trump did what he does best, reacted loudly. Did he fire off an all-caps rant on Truth Social? Of course. Did he call Kimmel a third-rate hack and blame the failing late-night industry? Absolutely. But the real twist? In trying to brush off the joke, he somehow made it worse. Instead of shutting it down, his rant kept it alive, turning a quick joke into a full-blown news cycle. Classic Trump, taking a late-night punchline and stretching it into a multi-day headline, all while insisting he does not care. Trump's frustration was evident as he continued his tirade, throwing in claims that late-night television had lost its charm due to radical leftist propaganda. He pointed fingers at networks, suggesting that they had become obsessed with ridiculing conservatives.
So many incredible supporters here today. We're going to forge a new and lasting political majority.
Instead of delivering quality entertainment. His supporters echoed these sentiments, flooding social media with posts about how comedy had become a political tool rather than a form of lighthearted entertainment. But the irony was undeniable. While Trump dismissed Kimmel's jokes as unfunny and irrelevant, his relentless response only amplified them. Every news outlet seized the opportunity to replay the monologue, ensuring that even those who had missed the original joke were now fully aware of it. Pundits on both sides dissected Trump's reaction, some arguing that his sensitivity to satire exposed a thin skin, while others insisted he was justified in defending himself against media bias. Meanwhile, Kimmel wasted no time in capitalizing on Trump's meltdown. The late-night host dedicated an entire segment to reading Trump's posts aloud in exaggerated voices, making his audience roar with laughter. He mockingly thanked Trump for the free publicity, joking that he should be listed as an executive producer on the show for boosting ratings. Other comedians joined in, with Stephen Colbert, Seth Meyers, and even Saturday Night Live weaving Trump's rants into their own skits. As expected, Trump's reaction sparked a ripple effect, inspiring a fresh wave of memes and internet jokes. Edited videos of Trump yelling at his TV screen circulated online, alongside parody tweets suggesting he was up at 3 a.m. furiously composing another rant. Some users even resurrected old clips of Trump laughing along with comedians in the past, contrasting his previous lightheartedness with his current outrage. Despite all of this, Trump remained defiant. In a follow-up post, he doubled down on his claims, insisting that he had single-handedly saved late-night ratings because people only tuned in to hear what he would say next. His statement, while intended as a boast, only reinforced the reality Kimmel had successfully baited him, and the cycle of mockery was far from over. The media frenzy, turning a joke into a news cycle. Even cable news picked up the feud, dedicating segments to analyzing Trump's response. Political analysts debated whether these comedic jabs influenced public perception or if they were just harmless entertainment. Meanwhile, conservative media hosts went on defense, accusing Hollywood of using comedy as a political weapon against the former president.
Like, I don't remember. Oh, maybe that's what I said. This was 14 years ago. They didn't do a retraction.
In the middle of it all, Kimmel was probably just sitting back, watching the chaos unfold and preparing his next monologue. Trump is an over-the-top character, and the internet wasted no time turning this whole fiasco into a meme fest. Social media lit up instantly, faster than Trump could type "witch hunt." Twitter was flooded with Melania blinking in Morse code jokes, while TikTok users reenacted the moment with dramatic flair. His supporters rushed to defend him, calling the joke disrespectful, while critics laughed so hard they probably pulled a muscle. Late-night hosts, sensing an opportunity, jumped in, stretching Kimmel's one-liner into a multi-day roast. Before long, the joke had evolved into an entire comedy saga. Whether Trump liked it or not, he was now the main character. And of course, he could not resist reacting. "Our great First Lady, she just wrote a book. It is great. Go buy it. Unless she says bad things about me, then don't buy it," he rambled, adding fuel to the fire. Melania's silence speaks volumes. As the internet exploded, all eyes turned to Melania. But she stayed silent. No tweet, no statement, not even a cryptic "we don't care" moment. Instead, people analyzed her past expressions like detectives on a case. Was she secretly laughing while sipping tea, or just rolling her eyes and adding this to the long list of things she is over? At this point, it was clear her silence was louder than any response. Kimmel now had two options: let it go like a mature adult, or keep roasting Trump until he turned redder than his own MAGA hat. Spoiler alert, maturity is overrated. Meanwhile, Trump, the king of holding grudges, just might turn this into his next campaign talking point. Because if there is one thing Trump knows how to do, it is turn a joke into a political weapon. And with election season on the horizon, you can bet that Kimmel's name is now permanently etched into Trump's list of so-called enemies. And just like that, late-night writers are celebrating because Trump taking the bait is like hitting the comedy jackpot. The internet? Oh, they're already 10 steps ahead, churning out memes faster than Trump can fire off a Truth Social rant. Will this feud show down in a stand-up special or another all-caps meltdown? Who knows? But one thing is for sure, comedy wins every time. If there is one lesson here, It is that when you throw a joke Trump's way, you do not just get a reaction, you get a full-blown spectacle. And as long as there are comedians with a mic and an audience ready to laugh, the show will always go on. Thanks for watching.